Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise, and today I want to go over a few more subtle but very important details that you might have missed from the recent gameplay blowout. If you guys missed it, then I had a chance last week to interview Ryozo and Ichinose-san. We of course got news about the PC release. We got to find out that decorations are now craftable, and we also got to share some gameplay, showing off some Bishaten hunts, some Kezu hunts, and of course a tour around the village. During that we got to see the smithy, we got to see the new canteen, the Buddy Island, loads of things, basically. If you've missed any of that, you can check it out over on the channel. But of course, on top of that, there were other outlets that of course got to share some gameplay, both media outlets and of course also Japanese channels. And amidst all of that, there are a few really cool, really noteworthy things that you might have missed. So today we're talking about 7 cool things in Rise that you definitely need to see. So if you guys do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think of all of this. Let me know if you've got any burning questions. But let's kick things off at number 1 with a quality of life improvement in the smithy. This one I really like. I did mention this in passing beforehand, but when you go to forge your weapons, you now do have, while there is obviously the upgrade option in the smithy, you do have the option just to do everything within one page. You can see that when you go into the first area, you go straight to the weapon tree, followed by the weapon list and then the upgrade list. But what I really like is when you actually go to physically craft an item and you select it, you have the option to forge, to upgrade, or to roll back, all in one place. This now means that when you want to kind of upgrade things from a convenience point of view, instead of having to craft something in one page, then go back and find the upgrade menu for the second one, you can simply do it all in one location. This I am very happy about. Moving on from there to point number 2, while we are on the smithy, the weapon crafting page, you guys might have noticed that there are no longer bloat values for weapon damage. Now, for those of you guys that are new to Monster Hunter with Monster Hunter World, effectively, when we say bloat values, we mean vanity values for weapons. If you take something like a greatsword and a sword and shield side by side in World or Iceborne, you'll of course know greatswords will carry damage values up in the thousands, right? You might have like a 1200 damage value greatsword versus a sword and shield that might say be 200 or 300. When in reality, if you craft them from the same monster at the same point in the game, while their individual per hit attacks may differ, their power potential is identical because they are created at the same point from the same monster. And in some of the games in the past, we have used real values, which might be why you'll often see a sword and shield and say a greatsword both with 80 attack or 100 attack. However, Capcom do sometimes sort of seem to think that this confuses people, so they often bloat these values by basically applying a multiplier to select weapons just to kind of give them a vanity number that is more sort of indicative of that weapon's behavior. Seeing a greatsword that is a huge meaty weapon with a number like a 1000 is potentially, at least in Capcom's eyes, much easier to grasp when you look at, say, a sword and shield with 100 damage versus, say, seeing both of those weapons seemingly have the same damage value. Ultimately, under the surface, it still does the same thing, but for those of you that prefer the real power values, then bloat values are not present in Rise. Moving on from there to number 3, we of course get confirmation that decoration levels are returning. As mentioned, we do of course know that decorations are craftable. I got that confirmed during my interview. But when you take a look at the armor screen, you can of course see the different icons that were introduced in World to represent the different level decorations. So again, they will of course be factoring in. Quite whether they go up to, say, the newly introduced level 4 decorations will of course remain to be seen, but they are back. Now, something that is cool, and this actually came from some of the Japanese gameplay, is the ability to toggle individual armor pieces in terms of visibility. Now, in World and Iceborne, of course, you have the ability to toggle your helmet if you do not want to display it, but everything else, of course, does still need to remain visible. You can, of course, cover that stuff with layered armor, and we haven't seen exactly how layered armor works in Rise just yet. We do know there are some layered armor sets, but from what I've seen of the smithy menu, it doesn't appear to be a kind of complete layer, anything like it is in World and Iceborne. Admittedly, that did come towards the end of the game's life cycle, so I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't, say, in there at the beginning. But regardless, one thing that is new in Rise, as you can see from this screenshot, is the ability to toggle each individual item. You see the little eye icon next to each of the items, so if you want to walk around without, say, a chest piece on, or without, say, your pants on, then you can do that. That is, of course, different again to layered armor, but for those of you that want to, say, hide more than just your helmet, you can. Now, next up, for those of you guys that really like investing time into your palicos, especially the fact that we can, of course, recruit multiple palicos this time around, you can see that in Rise, palicos fall within one of 5 different categories. You have your healers, your assist type, your fighter, your bomb type, and your gatherer. And of course, you know, when you extend that to the fact that they do have different skills and skills that you can unlock as you progress throughout the game or by fighting select monsters, then there is definitely going to be a great degree of customization for your palicos. Now, the sixth point is actually really interesting. This one isn't one from the actual gameplay specifically. This came from a Japanese interview and kind of combines nicely with the interview question I got to ask Ichinose, which of course was about whether weapons have different ways to use them. And the Japanese interview confirms that they will share details on the new system mechanic they added for hunters, in which we are seeing moves in the trailers that were not in the demo. They said that information will be shared at the March digital event. And they said basically the same thing in my interview when I said, how do I perform the gun lance rocket blast because it doesn't look like it's got a silk bind attached to it. They basically said to me that that was an observant question, but please hang on until the March digital event to find out more. So it sounds like there's more to the weapons that we still have yet to see, and next week's event is going to be exciting for that. And then finally, at number 7, again, this came from the Japanese gameplay, but also kind of complements an Instagram post that actually kind of went out a little while ago on the official Monster Hunter Rise Japanese Instagram account. But it seems like NARGACUGA could well be making a return in this game. Obviously, that hasn't been confirmed by Capcom just yet. But when you see there is an NPC in the village who is of course wearing full Naga gear. Now yes, they could wear armor sets from monsters that are not in the game, but a lot of the time they do tend to wear armor sets from you know, present monsters. And if you take a look at this concept art they put out on Instagram, you will see up in the trees that is without question NARGACUGA stalking that sort of caravan. So I think it's fair to say thematically the gear also fits. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Naga makes a return. So there you have it. There are 7 things that you may have missed from some of the recent information that dropped last week. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, be sure to keep it locked because we have got plenty more information coming your way. You know, next week there is the event. Incredibly excited for that one. Can't wait to find out more about the weapons. So definitely, if you're hyped for Rise, keep it locked because we've got plenty of stuff coming your way. If you want to catch more from us at Arekkz Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys 269, Paradise Central and Investmore streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below, and of course you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.